Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, and it's been quite some time. I am kind of sorry that I did not upload anything anytime sooner, but I was kind of busy at college and I was about to say school. But we have our annual fest coming up, and that's why it's been a very hectic time. So anyway, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read this January, and I'm also going to be sharing a few books that I bought. I have put myself on a book buying ban. However, these books are all for my classes for college, and that's why I do not really count them in the ban. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So in January, I read a total of 11 books, out of which I finished 9. I did not finish two of them, and these two I'll be carrying into my February TBR, so I have quite high hopes with them, and I'll see how it goes for me. So the first book that I picked up and did not finish was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It's a beautiful holographic sort of cover, and I really actually had a hard time reading this. I think firstly I was not in the right mental space to pick this up. I am just over 100 pages in, and it has finally started to become interesting for me. Otherwise it was just, I didn't find it interesting enough, I think, and I definitely will be reading more of it in February, and probably I'll start from the beginning. I have read let me just check, 174 pages, yes, and it started to get interesting past the 100-page point, and so I have high hopes for it. It's dark academia, there's magic, there's Yale, and we have a scarred, a flawed heroine, and it's going to be quite interesting, I think, to see her character arc especially. Then the second book that I picked up but could not finish is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. I think this is actually an essay which has been collected from 2 lectures that she gave at 2 colleges. Yeah, I have heard many good things about this, obviously. I think this is on the foremost of feminist literature, and this is an important book for any woman to read, especially in terms of I would say any woman who is creating something for herself, for everyone basically, why it is important for a woman to have a certain space of her own without any familial obligations or anything except the obligations she has to herself. So I'm also very excited to read it. This is actually for a class, and since I have been busy with my college fest, I haven't been able to study at all, and that's why this is the situation regarding this book. The first book that I actually read and finished in January was Good Girls Lie by J.T. Ellison. Now, if you have read Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, this is a book that you will really love. It is set in a boarding school, an exclusive all-girls boarding school, and from that itself, I was very interested to see how the dynamics would be between the girls, the dynamics, the hierarchy, and everything. Now, it is a very atmospheric book, which I really love. There is a lot of suspense, and there is, one thing that I did not like actually was there was this constant shifting between two point of views, and for a moment I would get confused as to who is who, but overall it was very great. I loved the atmospheric quality, and another reason you might want to check this out is that it has secret societies as well. So in this school rather, for young women, there are secret societies, and if you get tapped, you're among the exclusive ones. It's very interesting and everything is great until a murder takes place, and that's when everything goes haywire for our heroine, who is supposedly a British heiress, and this is an American school. So it's very interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I rated it 3.75. Now, the second book that I read in January was A Gender Swap on Cinderella. It is What If It's You by Mitali Milan, and it is based in India. I did not know that such a mixture was possible until I actually read the book. Now, in this book, why I said that it's a gender swap is because in this book we follow a superstar rich girl, and her name is Sarah. She's a movie star, and on the other hand we follow this guy called Vihang, who is living with his stepmother and his stepbrother, and while he isn't poor, he's not as well off as Sarah, and their romance is really interesting. It is an online romance, because she writes a letter and puts it inside of a book, and he gets the book, and then he gets the letter, and they start emailing each other, and it's quite interesting. This is also supposed to have a sequel. It is part of a duet, and I'm very excited to see how the sequel goes, because the ending of the story really left me on not exactly a cliffhanger, but I am very, very eager to see how it goes, because the ending was very realistic, and the story is a very plot driven story. It's not a character driven novel. I just said the opposite, but the story is a very character driven novel. We have these two very strong characters, and they have pulled the story so far rather than the actual plot. So, the ending also was controlled by them a lot, and I'm excited to see how the sequel will go. I really enjoyed this book. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Then the next book that I read in January was Pumpkinheads by Rowell and Erin Hicks. Now, I was in a terrible slump in January, and I couldn't really read much, so I decided to pick up something fun and quick and not very heavy. That's why I decided to pick up Pumpkinheads. It was my first graphic novel of the year, and I quite enjoyed it. It is set in the span of a day, just one day, not exactly a day even, because it's not 24 hours really. It's a very fun, flirty contemporary. The colors are wonderful, the illustrations are great, and I really enjoyed it. However, like I said, it's not a very deep read. It does not have much depth. It's very fun and flirty, like I said again. So yeah, if you're looking for something really philosophical or anything like that, like literary fiction, this might not be the book for you, and it might disappoint you. But however, it was fun. I had fun. It really helped me recover a bit from the reading slump, and I rated it 3.75 stars. Then after reading Pumpkinheads, I was so in love with graphic novels. I wanted to read something more, and that's why I decided to pick up another graphic novel, and it's one that is set on the Indian epic Mahabharata. Now, I picked up Vyasa, which is by Shivaji Bandyopadhyay and Shankar Banerjee. Now, this is part 1, and it does not actually portray the Mahabharata war, but it's very beautiful. It really follows the story from the very beginning, as in the history of the ancestors and not the actual Pandavas and the Kauravas. So it has a lot of history and research put into it. The pictures are also very nice. As you can see, I really liked the drawing style of the artist, and I'm just going to show you this one. This is Draupadi, which is beautiful. I really like this one. And the art is by Shankar Banerjee, and it's very beautiful. I think let me just check how much I rated it, but I rated it 4.5 stars. This is the highest rated book in my January wrap up, and I really enjoyed it. I think you all should definitely pick this one up as well, and I think you all will really enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to the sequel. I don't know when it's coming out, but if you do, don't forget to comment down below. And if you have read any other graphic novels, then don't forget to leave your recommendations down below as well. Then the next book that I read in January, was What the Eye See by Nitya Ravi. Now, this is actually a collection of short stories. It has 7 short stories. I cannot speak today, but all of them really revolve around the themes of horror, suspense. There's also dystopia, alien. It's very good. I really liked it, and it is a really atmospheric read, and it really creeped out one of my friends on Bookstagram, and I quite enjoyed it. It was a very quick read because all of these stories are really fun, and you can just read them one story at a time if you want. They are really great, and I think that if you are suffering from reading slumps, short stories are the greatest place to start. They really helped me deal with my reading slump, and I quite enjoyed it. This book also has an IGTV review up on my Instagram. I'll link everything down below. What If It's You by Mithali Milan also had an IGTV review, and I'll link that down below as well. And yeah, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed it, and I think you definitely will like it too. So yeah, don't forget to check out the exclusive video review I did for this book. So the next 2 books that I read in January were really quick reads. I read them when I couldn't really sleep at night, and I'll just mention the names. Firstly, I read Pretty Girl by Alexa Riley, and I rated it 2 out of 5 stars. However, it was a really fun romantic read. You could just read if you want to pass the time or anything like that. Then I also read Wrath by Emily Blythe, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, which I also enjoyed. It was also another romance read that I read at night when I couldn't really sleep, and both of these two are really great. I really recommend you to pick them up if you want something fun and flirty and not that heavy. But yeah, really great books, and I definitely recommend you to pick them up. The next book that I read in January is Dream Beyond Shadows, No Ordinary Tourist by Kartikeya Ladha, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Now, I found this to be a wonderful mixture between an autobiography and a travelogue. It is amazing. It also has some poetry pieces written by the author himself, and they are amazing. There are pictures, there are different photographs, and it's just amazing. There are beautiful illustrations as well, like chapter headings and all. It is also a very philosophical read, so I think it has something for everyone, really, about discovering yourself, about achieving your goals, goals which are apart from what the society expects from you, the stereotypical quotes and all. It was a really great book. I have a full review written for it, which I'll link down in the descriptions. But yeah, I definitely recommend you to pick it up. It was really, really great. If you want to read something philosophical and yet a bit of fun as well, not too philosophical and spiritual, this is just a book for you. The last book that I read in January was Ravanputra Meghnad by Kevin Missal. Now this is actually a fiction. The story does not actually happen like that. However, it follows the son of Ravan, favorite son of Ravan, who was Meghnad, and he in the Ramayana, the war, he was actually on Ram's side. It is really interesting to see this twist that the author has given. However, it did feel a bit rushed. There were slangs used which were very modern, and so I could not really find myself attached to the setting. It didn't really match the setting. That's what I was hoping to say. But overall, it's really great. The character arc of this character has been great. But of course, at the end, I have to reiterate that it is fiction, even though it is inspired from mythology, and it is also very, very rushed. I rated it 3.75 stars. Alright guys, so that's it for my January wrap up. For now, let's get into my January haul. I got a total of 5 new books and 6 new books, and one of them was actually a book swap. So let me show you. Spin to Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Now this is actually a book swap. I have heard it being described as a cross between Project Runway, that's fashion, and Mulan, and that's why I'm very, very excited. It is also a beautiful, beautiful cover, and it's got a female lead, and she has to accept this fantastic challenges to make these certain types of dresses, and that's why I'm very, very excited to see how it goes. And it's also been blurbed by Tamora Pierce. So yeah, the young tailor must sew 3 gowns from the laughter of the sun, the tears of the moon, and the blood of stars. So if that doesn't seem like impossible challenges, I don't know what is. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this one. The next 5 books that I'll be showing you were all bought by me because I require them for certain different classes that I'm taking this semester. And the first one is an autobiography, Wings of Fire by APJ Abdul Kalam. Now, like I said, this is for my autobiography class, and I'm quite excited to see how it goes. I have read the first chapter. It was included in class text and English text back when I was in school still. So I really liked it. I found it very, very interesting, and I'm excited to read it and read the full book, that is. So yeah, it's also got some pictures, etc., and yeah, and this will really give me an actual glimpse into his life, and I am piqued. Then I have a classic, which is actually an epic, and it is Paradise Lost by John Milton. Now I have an ebook of this whole copy, but this is such a beautiful, beautiful poem. I've only read book 1 so far, but I really enjoyed it. It's about the man's disobedience, basically, of man's fall from the graces of God, and it's very, very great. And the first line itself of this huge poem begins with, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree whose mortal taste brought death into the world and all our woe. So basically it's about men, Adam and Eve, taking that apple and having it, and then on. And it's very, very beautiful. I really like the prose. And yeah, this is a Penguin Classics edition. This is a second-hand copy, as you can already see. And I really love how these editions look, and that's why I got this one. Then I also got 2 books from the same author. It's actually Gabriel Garcia Marquez's books. The first one is The General in His Labyrinth. I first heard about this book in Looking for Alaska by John Green, and I was quite interested to know more about this, and I got this beautiful edition, and of course I got it. I do not know anything about it, to be very honest. I absolutely don't, but it's very well, it's very well talked about. It's critically acclaimed, so I'm very excited to see it. And since I wanted to get more acquainted with his writing, you could say, I also got this book of collected stories. So it has got his stories, and they were translated from the original Spanish. It has many stories, it seems. There are 26 stories. So I'm very excited to see how it goes, and I am eager to see how I will react to his writing style and everything. The last book that I have, that I got in January, is also another book of Ramesh Gunasekara. I read Suncatcher last year. It was sent to me by Bloomsbury, and I loved his writing style. It's just very beautiful. And so when I came across Reef by the same author, I knew I just had to get my hands on it, and I'm very excited to see how it is. So that's it, guys. We have finally reached the end of this video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Don't forget to tell me how many books you read in January, how reading was in January for you all, because for me it wasn't that great. I generally read like 15 books, 10 to 15 books in a month, and this time I could hardly complete 10. So I blame it on my reading slump and me being busy for my college fest, but I think everything will be perfectly sorted out in February once the fest is over. So I have got high hopes for my February reading, and yeah, don't forget to share your reading habits for February. I'll see you soon, and peace out.